This is the Workplace Ninja podcast, coming to you live from our summit in Baden with highlights, insights, and interviews.
So, and we're back. The video is running. We're on the live stream.
Cool.
And Peter is back.
Yep.
So, how was your day so far?
Good. Yeah, had some good sessions. Attended good sessions, but yeah.
Well, it's day
tired.
3. It's tired. It's day 3 already. How is that for you guys? We have on the table Per Larsen.
Yeah.
Pierre. Oh, how do we pronounce it? So to be correct.
As we say in Danish, Pierre.
So, yeah. You're from Denmark?
Yeah, I'm from Denmark.
I'm working in the Intune
engineering organization, a team called the CAT, where we talk to the most strategic customers about what they need and what they want and why they cannot deploy the software as it is today. And then we talk to the feature PMs and the devs on how to actually improve the product for the future.
And next to you, Ele. Oh, let's have a second. I need to change. There was a community session up front, so I need to change some gear. But now you should be online.
Testing.
Yeah,
There we go.
He's there.
There we
Ele, who are you?
Hey, my name's Ele. For those of you who know Pele, the football player, you can take away the P. That's an easier way to remember my name when you see the letters. I am a PM lead, so I manage a team of product managers at Microsoft in the feature team for Intune. I focus on everything to do with onboarding Windows, so Autopilot, enrollment into Intune, device management, and on the Windows platform, as well as end user experiences. So things like the company portal and how end users interact with their management as well. Based in the UK actually, so a lot of late nights, but it's all right.
Yeah. You guys have with a lot of Microsoft people. You're over here. You guys are doing lots of sessions. How many did you did already?
So I was lucky. I was originally meant to do 3. I ended up doing 1 and being present for the other to answer questions.
Yeah. And how was that for you, Pierre?
Yeah, I was about to do 4, but the same, should be 4 people on stage, and that was too much, so we actually took two of us out. So I did 2 sessions, but were in the other ones to help support, answering questions.
Yeah. And what was the main message in general to give away to the people? What did you do?
In the sessions?
Yeah.
So feel free to add. Okay. In general, it was a reminder of the core messages when it comes to onboarding and the future of onboarding. So firstly, there's the on-prem to cloud. We're really trying to help our customers get to full cloud management, to open them up to a lot of value that comes, whether it's some of the AI that's going to come, whether it's analytics, whether it's just being able to remotely manage things really well. And then we can add a lot more there. But the vision is pure cloud management with Entra ID, not hybrid, pure cloud management. So that's one of the big things. And then Autopilot plays a very core role in that. So we had a session on just letting people understand where Autopilot is today, some of the main things we've done over the last year, and then some of the ideas that we're having for the next iteration of that. So that's kind of at a high level, the things that, the messages that we were involved in. Do you have anything to add?
Yeah, the first session that I did was together with one of the PMs and one of our dev leads, and that was on how to enable Cloud PKI that is coming out next year. So that is also part of our cloud strategy, so you can do everything cloud first. You don't need to have something on-premise. So we did a live demo of how to actually configure that within 5 minutes on stage Monday. And this morning we talked about how to manage apps in the cloud and what we are going to do with the new product inside the Intune Suite, Enterprise App Management, where we are getting you a catalog where you can download app into Intune tenant, deploy it to the user, and update them. But that is only a cloud feature and not coming to Config Manager. There's nothing wrong with Config Manager, and it will stay there, and it will work if you are in a co-managed state.
Yeah.
But for new devices, that what Ele was saying, go into Azure AD through the Autopilot experience, having Intune to deploy both policies and apps, and maintain that as long as the device is actually alive from the end user perspective.
And Cloud PKI is a big thing because when we start recording this Wednesday with Ramya and Steve, that was one of the things Ramya demoed also in the keynote session. Yeah. After that, we talked within 2 other sessions about Cloud PKI. You mentioned it again, so it's a big thing, and we have talked a little about it with the others, but having the knowledge of a PKI environment, it's hard to get them into your organization, and now delivering it and configure it within 5 minutes. Yeah, that's a huge step forward for many organizations. But if we look into on-prem to cloud, what are the biggest challenges that there are, for example, within?
One of the first channels that we get is the customer perspective that when you have an Azure AD joint device, that you cannot get to your on-premise data.
Yeah.
And the Intune team has actually done a pretty good job and documented how to do SSO single sign-on from an on-prem from a Azure AD joint device to on-premise environment. And one of the things that we often hear from customers is we need to move everything to cloud, but there's a big difference between the device identity, the user identity, and the management plane. So you can actually divide all 3 of them. So the hybrid user identity, that's all good for now. When you do the device identity, if you are on hybrid today, you can stay on hybrid as long as you want. But when you're provisioning a brand new device, go to Azure AD, go to Entra ID, do the Entra ID, join with Autopilot for brand new devices.
And using, what is it called? Cloud Key Trust? I guess.
Yeah, for the single sign-on.
Yeah. I configured that 2 weeks ago for one of my customers. And when in the past days, we need to configure PKI and having a key trust environment and so on. So it was a lot of work. And nowadays, you have to run a PowerShell script with 2 lines. There is an object created, and you have a single sign-on from.
It's no fun anymore. To be,
for us, no.
IT Pro, all the work is done by you guys. So like installing a PKI infrastructure could take us days, and now it's 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but are you happy about that, Peter?
Yeah, I'm definitely happy about that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Just joking.
But again, I see the point about you doing less. But if we go 10 years back and look at what we actually did 10 years ago, and when the cloud journey started, as a consultant, people even got more work because you still need the knowledge. You still need to have the specialized knowledge. You also need to know how things work together and how to integrate things. So IT pros is never going away.
No.
But
and getting we need to focus
tools,
on other stuff.
Yeah, on other stuff that is actually more interesting and being more productive and helping the end user instead.
So true.
And with AI, it will be even easier to do the work and get the data that you need.
Yeah, I'm really interested how that will be evolving in the Intune space, in the space we are in. Yeah.
Is that a question?
No.
Just kidding. No. Agreed. Exactly. It's a burgeoning space.
Yeah.
So no one can really tell you 100% how it's going to go, but there's just so much power, and we're trying to get those fundamentals in to really leverage it across all our scenarios. But sometimes you have to be careful, because sometimes AI can be a hammer that you're just looking for the right nail as opposed to solving the right problems with it is one of the core tenets of the organization. I mean, going back to your initial question, though, the one thing I do want to bring up, even though it's not quite technical, is that there is a big challenge around culture within the organization and fear when it comes to getting off the on-prem. I see you nodding your heads, like you've experienced it as well, right?
Yeah.
And so you're struggling to get a set of people who are used to a particular environment, or who are concerned about this particular app that the person that wrote it either is gone for years. I was talking to a customer who had a manufacturing, IT for a manufacturer, and they were so scared of touching that environment that they were willing to at least try hybrid, even though the messages go straight to full Entra. And there's just a fear there. It's like, have you gone through the applications? Do they really need identity? Are people logging in that way and things of that nature? So I just wanted to call that out a little bit, just to...
Yeah, but what we see with the new things, Pierre, what you mentioned a few minutes ago with the single sign-on experience, with the configuration that we had done, it's only a few things that we need to do, but the end user experience and the customer experience is so optimal. I had an education company where we enabled that in the morning, and let's test that on a few devices, and then on the end of the day there were more than a handful already deployed. And
that willingness.
Yeah.
Exactly. One of the biggest issue we get from customers is when they're starting to test this, they haven't configured the on-premise environment correctly.
Yeah.
So when they get a brand new Azure AD joined device, by default that enrolls in Windows Hello for Business. When you do that and try to access on-premise
then you have an issue.
On-premise resources, that will fail unless you have configured it correct. But as you said, it takes 5 minutes, and then you're done. So,
yeah, and that's really helpful to get the adoption of a modern managed device more and more in this area. So on-prem to cloud, it will definitely help with these kind of things. So, what is the difference between nowadays we have Windows 11, and one of the things I heard in the last few days, get customers from Windows 10 to Windows 11, but that's also helping these kind of things to migrate from Windows 10 to 11, I guess.
Agreed.
Yeah. We discussed it in the earlier podcast also that. While I was at a customer, we were implementing Windows 10 modern managed device, purely Azure AD joined, no passwords, and there was a small group testing Windows 11 also on the side, and they just decided overnight to move over to Windows 11 because it just worked and no issues at all.
Yeah, we have even worked with companies. I think that wrote a white paper themselves. Intel, they migrated or upgraded 70,000 Windows 10 to 11 devices within 3 weeks, and then they leveraged Windows Update for Business and Intune to configure that with the best end user experience that they have actually ever had for the end user. And the support calls that they got from that one was so low compared to what they used to do when they upgraded with Config Manager. So taking advantage of some of these cloud features, even when you are hybrid joined today, it's so important both for the end user but also for the cost inside the company.
One of the biggest challenges within modern managed devices is app management. You mentioned that already. We have seen some new things that are coming within Intune. What direction is that going? Is there something you can elaborate a little bit on that?
We have the App 32 model today, and we keep improving that. We are almost in the same place as we are with Config Manager today. What we're doing with the new enterprise app management is just creating catalogs, so you don't have to package your application. You can just pick them, and then they lie inside your Intune environment, and you can deploy them to either your user or your devices, and you will get a notification when that application needs to be updated. And then with the supersedence model we have inside Intune, that application can be updated on the end user's device without you having to, again, repackage the application, figure out what is the command line to actually install the application and uninstall and so on. So all of that is taken care of, and everything is in your tenant. Some of the things that we hear when customers are moving from on-premise environment with SCCM on the application side to Intune is the main concern is bandwidth. But with delivery optimization, you can actually get the data from your peers, and that is between 80 to 90% of the data, and the rest is getting down from the internet. What we've also seen with some of the customers that we've worked with is they moved away from config manager and to Intune for application management. One of the reasons with a specific customer that I worked with was they wanted to close down data centers around the world. But the first thing they asked about was, can we get some kind of caching server on that location? So do you just close your data center? Do you really want to connect a server? So we help them configure delivery optimization, and they are actually using that today. So they have no on-premise servers in those countries.
I almost feel sorry for the one guy yesterday in the AMA who needs to have an offline environment and cannot consume Intune and all the great features. So
yeah, but config manager is there for that environment, and it will be there. So there will be air gapped environment, and there's nothing we can do about that.
Oh, exactly.
I understand what Peter is saying though.
Yeah.
Like, if only they could take advantage of all this great stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the requirements, it is what it is.
And also the security postures that we can actually do with the cloud is way better than we can do on-premise.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
That edge.
Do we have other things?
Do we have other things? Maybe one question. I'm not sure if you can talk about it, but you explained that you get a notification if an update is available. Is there also something in the works that it's updated automatically via Intune, or is that something which is a little bit tricky because you want to maybe test it?
Yeah, we actually got the question inside the session as well. So in the beginning, we will not do the auto update. We had one guy in one side of the room was asking, can we deploy this in a ring method so we can actually test it? And that actually contradicts doing auto update like a guy on the other side of the room was saying. So we need to figure out what we can actually do to help both scenarios. In the beginning, there will be no form of auto update, but we will give you the notification so you to know how and which application that actually needs to be updated on, and on which devices that need to be updated.
And it depends on the country where you are. We had a recording with Sami yesterday. But in Germany, the Workers' Council doesn't allow to install things, so everyone needs to be testing and so on and so on. So,
but the features are there for a goal, right? Vulnerability management, and you want to patch those apps also. And if you have an automated way, then you will be safe.
So we still need to move from on-prem to cloud, and all the enhancements that has been done already will definitely help me to make that movement into that direction, I guess.
Yep. Yeah, I think so also.
So we need to take the next step with our customers in the Netherlands.
A lot of my customers are already in that process. So
luckily. Otherwise, they didn't invite you.
No, true.
And even if the customer is running config manager today, by enabling co-management, you will get advantage of
so many things.
Endpoint analytics as one example, where you can see blue screen of death, you can see how the device is actually performing. That is data you don't have access to.
That's always the one feature I show my customers is look, watch it once a week and pick out the top 10 of devices which have the most blue screens, and prepare a new laptop for the user and call them and say, hey, I have a new laptop for you. Why? Yeah, because your device is crashing all the time. Oh, I didn't know, or I didn't care to call you. But,
that is actually one of the issues.
To get ahead.
Yeah. That
really
the end user is sometimes so tired of IT that they don't call when there's something wrong. So giving you the data where you can actually do something about it proactively, that will hopefully give you happy users in the future.
It's not being used that often, I think. I'm not sure if you guys have metrics around that, but a lot of my customers don't know that they have
The ability
the ability to do
do
something like that.
Mm.
Yeah.
But the key in that direction is the data. Yeah, you guys have all the data, and if we can use that data optimally to predict in some ways, I think that definitely helps to support our end users in a much better way. And that's, if we look in general, I think that is the direction probably all other products are heading in. So let's see what that brings.
It's true.
Yeah.
Really excited about things I've been hearing about. It's not an area that I own, but just seeing the foundations that we're building for that. It's
Yeah.
gonna be really, really interesting to see how that goes. Although now, I do have to ask you, so for all these your customers who are making that transition, what has been the biggest challenge, but also the best part about getting those devices into the cloud?
The biggest challenge is
On average. When
on
you look
average.
at-
I think it's convincing the customers that it is not that difficult and that third-party applications most likely will work. You need to start testing and just enroll your device as a AD joint device and just look at your application landscape and see how the client servers single sign-on works or maybe not work, and then.
I do have to ask, are they mainly using Autopilot? Are they using other Windows enrollment methods?
Autopilot.
Okay,
yeah.
so that's the main thing you do push
Yeah.
for the customers.
Yeah,
Nice.
but we still
I'm intrigued
also
by all
use
of
something
that.
like OSD Cloud to make sure that if the hard disk fails, that
can.
things can be installed and that we have an updated device directly. So yeah.
Yeah, and if we look at education companies, I have a few education companies that have the challenge for the personnel, the teachers, and so on. They are willing to move into modern, but if you look at the students, they need a device with hundreds of applications. There are less and less still, but there are still many applications. So they are still using a lot of config manager to do OSD, enroll and complete image with applications, having update management. But that is still in transition to Windows Updates for Business at the moment. So they do a little hybrid, but they still need OSD. And that's a really specific scenario. But in general, they are moving the personnel, the teachers and so on.
Yeah.
They are moving into modern, and the students in the still config manager.
It's interesting. It's been maybe a year and a half since I was in the EDU space. Purely, are you seeing that because of just how much they need to do, they don't quite have the resourcing they need to test out some of the more modern management pieces? Or you're saying there's pieces of functionality that are just not there yet for them to really migrate?
It differs a little bit, because if it's higher education, they have their own device, and then if we can do bring your own in a somewhat better way, that could help. But if we look at somewhat lower education, then we have shared devices that are used by so many students in a day, and that is one of the key things for education.
Yeah.
If we move into modern, shared devices is not that optimal for education companies. It can be used, but it's not that optimal, in my opinion.
Interesting.
I don't know.
I don't do a lot in the education space. So,
So the shared device configuration within Intune is good for kiosk and so on, and having. I'm at an oil terminal where an operator needs to do stuff. That's more than fine. But if you have students walking in and out and must be logging on and so on, that's the case.
I mean, what I'm hearing you say is like, it's easy to approximate shared to a few scenarios where there's that particular scenario of serial logging in, and they need the full experience. That's the one that there's room for growth.
Yeah, but. Absolutely room for growth. On the other hand, there are already so much improvements done in the past that really helps to deliver a good experience for them.
That's good.
So.
And we do have a big focus as we're going forward across Microsoft tools when it comes to various shared scenarios as a whole. It is
Yeah.
mobile and Windows, so it's gonna be interesting what we see there. I'm actually almost intrigued now about whether schools are using Windows 365 or if that's not there yet. But anyway, we can have that discussion later.
No, I think definitely not yet. Also from a cost perspective, I guess.
That was, I was like, okay. Maybe higher ed, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. Any other things to bring on the table from you?
No, I think we're perfectly.
almost done. Any other thing to mention from that we missed? Probably.
That you want
I
to
think you
share.
covered most of
I
it.
think we covered most of it. I'll just make a plug for Ignite coming up and just lots more announcements coming out over the next few months.
Yeah.
As we continue to move forward across the board in onboarding, Dr. Cloud. Again, it's just about providing everything that we can to help our customers make the right choice to get all the value that they get from the cloud.
Yeah. So have a look at all the announcements that will definitely be coming in the next few months about new stuff, but also probably other things that Lior already mentioned. Ignite.
Yeah. Exactly.
Still the marketing guys. So thank you for being here, and hopefully we see each other next year. It's the last day, so probably you will leave this day or tomorrow or the weekend, but
End of the day. Yeah.
we definitely meet up again if there will be a next one.
Yep.
And it will be.
There will be.
So please be aware for the announcement on the end of the day.
Nice. My first time here, it was really great, actually.
Yeah.
Really loved it. Can I say this is the best conference food I've had? But anyway,
Say that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great,
Yeah.
Great. Right. Bye.